Okay, I think we are live. I hope we are. Welcome, everyone. Hopefully, everyone can hear me and see me. We are literally blessed with some great guests here today. So we've got Tobias, our community manager, online as well.
Okay,
And we
I
welcome
think we are live.
Michael
I
here
hope we
as
are.
well. So welcome, Michael. Thank you
Welcome.
so much for joining us on this channel. Absolute privilege to have you here.
Thank you. I feel honored to be here. It's
Good,
awesome.
good. That is good to hear. Cool, guys. So we've got a bit of a breakdown today. Hopefully you can all see me and hear me. Do let us know in the chats on either Discord or YouTube if you see any issues. It's the first time we've done it, so hopefully everything's all going well. So yeah, today is very much going through a number of topics. Michael is going to be leading us down a path of questions and answers. We also have Tobias here, our community manager, as said earlier, helping us along the way with getting your questions from the audience as well. So without further ado, Michael, if you want to do a quick intro, actually, because you've got your own Kitsumon channel as well, haven't you? So you may as well give that a bit of a plug, and then we'll crack on with the AMA.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I was just thinking, in the crypto world, everyone is just in different channels and screaming when moon and such things, but nobody is doing anything to help the project succeed proactively. They're just waiting around, sitting around, and I thought, why not just create a YouTube channel and contribute to the success of the project that I came to love.
Well, I know that it's well received in our community for sure. Very well watched. So do make sure you go and check out Michael's channel. So Michael, I believe you have some topics and questions for us as a team that you want to go through in this AMA.
Yeah, well, first of all, for anyone who did not yet read the Kitsu diary that was released yesterday, can you run us real quick through the highlights?
Well,
Yeah,
before you
of
do that,
course.
Simon, real quick, there's an echo apparently on the YouTube stream. Maybe we can look into that first, and then we can keep going.
Yeah, have a listen. If it's still going, let me know. I think I did recognize an echo at the beginning, but hopefully that's fixed now. Just let me know, and we'll just try and fix that.
Currently, I'm still hearing it, but let's see. Maybe it gets better.
Okay. Could be coming from there. Okay, let's give it a go and see how we're doing. Do let me know if there's any further issues on that. So guys, as you can see on the screen here, so if anyone hasn't seen it before, you can check out our Medium. We've got loads of different articles on here, but the one in particular Michael is mentioning here is the July update. So we have this Kitsu diary. It's something new for us the last couple of months. So July's one was pretty jam-packed. We won't go into like every single bit of detail because otherwise we're basically just reading off the page here. But in general, we got to be quite excited about a few major things here. So of course, one of the big things is the progress to be getting the first CEX listing. This is essentially come to us via the token. So that's our first ever IEO. There's a couple different rounds that people can get involved with, but also some really good engagement opportunities for the token aspect as well, in the sense that we've got like an airdrop running right now. You can see all the detail of that on socials and things like this. So there's a big chance to get a grab of I think around $11,000 worth of a pool to be getting a chance to grab some of that on there as well of course, like one of the main criteria is for us to go onto the token is of course the activity and building momentum in that area so that we get a listing. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well and we might even see our first CEX listing in the next week or two. So thank you everyone for your support for that, of course, but of course we're looking forward to progressing that further forward as well. Other elements from July as well, those that you have monitored us on a regular basis would have seen the release of, I think there's 6, which is quite a lot for us to write up. 6 different Kitsu Dex modules, a load of different ones. So we had Geodite, Negativo, Gigawatt, Barlimon, Nuclismo, and Froa. So by the way, Tobias, the king of community here, is also the one that writes up these awesome articles.
That's
and
me.
you can see these brilliant visuals as well from our creative director Shen. So Matthew, very good work there. Just thought I'd throw that out because it's important to understand that there's a lot of work going on in the background constantly. So
Yeah,
very
they look
much
amazing.
You can
Yeah,
when
and the
they-
number
when
10 is
they-
coming today as well. Dempsey.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. There's more. The good thing as well I love about this is individually they're still impressive, but when you see them all together, it actually looks even more impressive. So there's some really big things going on there. We'll have a load more this week and the coming weeks as we lead up to some really cool, exciting stuff that we'll touch on a bit later. And we've had a couple of transformations as well. So this is like the evolution of some of the specific existing Gen 0 Kitsus here. So there's a crystal dragon here, for example, from Geodite. So some really cool stuff, really good designs here from some of our team as well. And a couple of other touch project points here as well. We've still got the round 3 of the land sale going on right now. So the first 2, believe it or not, sold out. Were completely filled up, each of them taking about an hour to fill up. And of course we listened the first time round. Everyone wasn't too pleased that we did it in early hours, but the second time we listened, we did it during the day and it went even faster. So we got the third one on there. So if you missed the first 2, don't worry, there's still a good opportunity for great APY rewards, and more importantly as well, of course, getting involved in the potential whitelisting or white spot of the land sale that is coming very soon, I can assure you. So some really cool stuff there. I'm going to touch up on a couple of these partnerships. I'm going to full detail them because there are articles and videos of these in general, Michael. So we've got things like the Spin Top, which we'll show you in a second. Also Plays app, we had Quest Games involvement further as well. And particularly what's interesting about the Atomic Fund is really helpful for everything that goes on with the exchange listings moving forward. Swipe blocks is a big thing for us. This allows the fiat ramping, which means that people can also obtain KMC and other elements of our game moving forward through the likes of their Visa debit cards and things like this. So really cool to see that. And loads of integrations with the likes of Filecoin as well, and some really cool gaming partners. We'll go on to that in a second because I know we've got a couple of topics to get through. So you can check out some of the AMAs on those as well if you want to hear some more information on them. And of course, we're already here. You don't really need to know much more about this, but KitsuPlay, hopefully you'll enjoy this. It's going to be a segment on a monthly basis, and we'll for sure be doing some video content throughout the month moving forward as well. And quick touch up on Balthazar report. This is really important. This is really good feedback for us. We took it constructively, and we've basically made a lot of really cool amends on social media, on our website, making things cleaner, more efficient. So making sure that people are getting the best experience and the best user-friendly experience across the board with our project and what we're doing there as well. And actually on that point, let's go into these Gamepad pages because these are really cool. So 2 of our partners, Quest Games and Quest Hub, very similar approaches. This means that you can go on, you can review our game. So as time goes by, we're going to see a lot more reviews, a lot more interaction with these kind of Gamepad platforms. And it's really cool because there's an overview. It's kind of like an extension, if you like, of the white paper and things like this. Loads of performance indicators, things like that as well, and some just general information about it. But like I said, with the reviews is really cool because these are all validated using like your wallet address from like MetaMask, for example. So you can get verified reviews, no spam or anything like this, like you can get on some review sites. And it's just building that portfolio, the ecosystem of gaming. Again, we'll go into that in a bit more detail. But yeah, Quest Hub has done something similar as well. And I think this is a really good approach for us. It broadens the audience, broadens the horizon of what we're potentially capable of moving forward. And also, this is really cool, and this is huge development from the team within. Those that know the likes of Sanjay on our team, absolutely fantastic head of development, as well as a co-founder, of course. But we also have our creative designer, director, Shent, who I've also mentioned as well. It's really important to understand that in the background, when you think maybe things are quiet or we're not doing anything, who knows? I can assure you, there's a magnitude of work going on all the time. And do you know what? I'm going to give you some exclusive viewing here. This is not fully live yet, but we've completely revamped the homepage, which you've probably seen already. But to be in line with that on the UX UI side of things, we have been incorporating some fantastic things here. A new staking platform, new reward system, which will come very handy, and some really cool developments coming out in the towards the end of this month or into next month as well. My screen's just completely fallen back as well, so hopefully I'm still here. And we've got the vesting aspect as well, so those that have got vesting tokens or rewarding and staking and things like this, you've got those options there. So I won't go into huge detail because this will kind of ruin the surprise of when it gets fully launched, but it's going to be a whole new spectrum of things. Like you have your own dashboard, you can see all your achievements, your rewards, your tokens, everything possible that you can think of, as well as a new staking platform. And there's a really cool overview section coming as well, where we'll have all this information about market cap, the price of the token, and things like this. So really cool stuff coming. It's been a lot of work in the background, of course. If you're an investor and things like this, of course the market's been a bit crazy, but this is a perfect and great opportunity for development, further development, listening to you guys out there for your feedback and your input. And hopefully we believe that we have delivered on everyone's requests and thoughts. So when this launches, we'll have that coming out in the coming weeks. Do keep an eye on the socials, because you won't want to miss this. You'll want to get your teeth into this as much as possible and enjoy the new stuff that you see there as well. So really cool stuff coming on that side of things as well. And then some really cool stuff about the game. Let's talk about the game a bit more. So I know there's a lot of you still waiting for a bit more information about the land sale. That is definitely coming in the coming weeks. Do not worry. We've been working extremely hard on a lot of the detail, the mechanisms, the technical aspects, the technology and everything behind it. Really important to understand that we're not sitting still. It's always happening. But some really cool stuff here. So this is provided some information from Sanjay and the rest of the development team, who are doing a fantastic job. We have Vahid as well. Incredible work going on in the background. So we have a load of information coming out very soon, but here's some top line stuff. We've got the game map development coming on here for the multiplayer support. This is some cool stuff. So our initial multiplayer base has just been developed. We now have the ability to show thousands of users in one time on an open game world, loading different maps. Hundreds of hours have been dedicated to getting this stage of development, and I can't reiterate that more than I already have done. So huge stuff coming. But there's loads of other things happening with the game development as well, which we'll be releasing in stepping stones over these coming weeks and the coming next month or so as well. Super cool stuff coming that you guys will be really excited about. We're getting to those business end of the project, if you like. So all good, all exciting. And that's very much a wrap up of July as a wrap. As I said, you can read through all that. It's all on our Medium platform. You can also check out our socials and things like that as well. So, Michael, what do you think of all that so far?
Yeah, it's amazing how much work has been done and how much the project has evolved the past month or months. And yeah, one of the major events in July was the report of Balthazar, which was overall very positive and reassuring, but also raised some good points and questions. And this leads me to my first question, because one of theirs was about esports. And they were wondering if the MOBA will be up to the task of providing a fun and also balanced esports experience. So I would like to know, what role does esports play in your overall game plan? And how do you make sure that it will be attractive for players, sponsors, but also the audience?
Sure. I'm actually going to load up the white paper in the background as well while I talk about this. Esports is a huge mechanism, Michael. So some of us within the team, including myself, have a relatively big background in esports and the partnership sides and the development of how the arenas worked and everything like this. So this is a really critical point to understand, because whilst our game is blockchain orientated and NFT orientated, of course, this adapts to an existing audience that's already out there in the I guess we call it like the crypto sphere, right? And Web3. Web3 gaming is extremely important from a technological aspect of what's achievable in the coming years. Now, this aspect of esports is really exciting. It's massively exciting for me to be able to encourage this, and for the team as well. Esports, for many people out there, maybe not know that this is actually something that's been around for like decades. But more recently, I would say in the last sort of 15 years, it has absolutely flown upwards in a big high trajectory. I'm just going to pull up some stats here for you guys, which, if you haven't seen the white paper, and this is all research and information that we pulled together as a team, but there's some conclusive information here in the sense of we've got two really big mechanisms in Web3 right now. We've got play to earn, which is the ability for people to earn money while they're playing games, i.e. utilizing their time. There was always a saying here in the UK, taxi drivers say time is money, and actually more people are now able to go, well, do you know what, I spend a lot of time gaming, or even indeed watching games. This is, a lot of people don't realize that we've now got view to earn as well. So there's a multitude of platforms out there. For example, UOS Ultra, we've got things like Veracity out there that have got view to earn platforms. Even Theta have them, and this is massive, because the traditional gaming market at this current moment in time has approximately, on an annual basis, 700 million people watching games. That's mental. We top that up with this number here, taken from Statista, 3.2 billion gamers worldwide. So we've got gamers on this side and we've got viewers on this side. We've then got a mechanism of play to earn and view to earn. So we're now talking about 700 million people having the ability to be paid for watching games. We also have the further ability with the play to earn mechanism in regards to really getting involved. As a game streamer, of course, you might have monetization on Twitch and YouTube and things like this, but it's a whole new level. So it gives like an extra dimension to gaming as a whole. We want to obviously not take away too much of the traditional principles of gaming, and that's why we feel our game is very inclusive. There is no kind of like age bracket or anything like this, because it should be open to everyone in that sense. And I think this is important to understand, that there are mechanisms within our game that are free, and mechanisms within our breeding, within our professions, within our land, that are allowing people to be able to get involved in the game without having even to make any investments. So we're covering all of these aspects here. And we see some of these games at the bottom. Some of them you have known, some of them you may not have done. But you can see here the traditional trading volumes, the NFT application of how many people play these games, use these games. League of Legends, LOL, and in some cases people recognize that as, this is obviously a big traditional game out there, but you can see the revenues are huge, and the monthly players, 125 million monthly players. This is crazy, and this is the traditional market. But now we've seen some recent data that very soon, perhaps this year, the first play to earn games like Axie Infinity, like Alien Worlds, for example, are creeping in to the traditional market. And I believe, and many of the people out there do as well in this space, that over the next 2-3 years, there's going to be a lot more play to earn blockchain Web3 games transitioning, taking over those traditional gaming spots. You think of like PUBG, as I said, League of Legends out there. You've got loads of other games like Fortnite and all of these things. It's a huge market and a huge opportunity. And the esports element is really important, because this is the playability aspect. This is what makes things come to life even more. So you've got the mechanism of watching and playing, but the actual esports part is huge. This is where we incorporate the battle arena in a really cool way, the tournaments, the achievements, the rewards, sharing of content. I would love to present one of the partners that we're going to announce at the end of this week. There's a bit of a hint that is coming. But we have a really cool partner that is delving into the social aspect of gaming. We have another partner, which we've mentioned before, called Iconic, where we're able to allow people to take their best gaming content, their best wins, and turn them into NFTs, turn them into your applicable assets that they can own and use and share. And this esports mechanism, as we just mentioned, all these big numbers of players, gamers. Imagine Kitsumon launching, the battle arenas live. You've got venues in your land, stadiums in your land. You can host them. You can go and watch other tournaments. You can create your own tournaments. You can get involved in tournaments, play to earn, play in the tournaments to earn. All of this amazing stuff. We've already touched upon that aspect. Imagine all the people watching it, and then all of a sudden you have this big massive ecosystem, really exciting ecosystem, and Kitsumon is wanting to be a leader in this area. There's not a lot of games in the Web3 space right now purely really focusing on the esports, and more importantly as well, traditional bridging. What I mean by this is bringing over those traditional 3.2 billion gamers. Arguably some of them are in Web3 already, but even if you've got just 10% of that number across, you're talking about a lot of users. So the idea is to keep the education going, the knowledge going, the bridging of the traditional into the Web3 gaming sphere. And we believe Kitsumon can be a huge leader in this. You're going to see a lot of activity in the traditional gaming space as well as Web3, and it's going to deliver an exceptional experience. Like I said, there's a really cool partner coming at the end of this month. You guys are going to love it. It's really taking some things to another level before we've even launched the game. So we're really excited about that all coming out. And as I said, the mechanism of esports. And if you have been following us for the many months, you will see all our partnerships as well with other game partners. You might be thinking this is just maybe a marketing thing or a PR stunt. There's actually integrations going on in the background. Now, don't take me word for word here, but some of the game partners that we have, like for example Penguin Carts and things like this, we have abilities within Web3 smart contract to be able to blend the games. Imagine Kitsu's racing in the Penguin Carts land and vice versa, and in your stadiums and in your venues. This is the beauty of this space, and it's things that we're talking and thinking about all the time. So when our game officially launches, everything is ready. Everything is already in place for you guys to have the best fun you've hopefully ever had in the gaming history. So that's why esports is important. As you mentioned, Balthazar picked up on this. We're working hard with those guys. There's going to be some really cool developments with Balthazar as well. Not just the report that we've done, but there's some really cool platform stuff that we're doing with them. But do keep an eye on the next, well, we're only a few days away now. Do keep an eye out for Friday. We'll be announcing a really cool partner, which you guys will just go, wow, this is really cool. So that's pretty much touched Michael on the esports side. Hopefully I haven't missed anything. If you have any further questions, obviously throw them out at me. But as you can imagine, and as you can see, the amount of numbers that we're talking about here, the audience numbers, the opportunity is huge, and Kitsumon wants to be a big part of that with you guys out there.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really amazing how the esports scene was growing over the last years. I mean, I witnessed it firsthand when I watched a lot of Dota tournaments, and every year the prices went up and went up and went up, and I was like, oh my God, this is getting ridiculous.
It is.
But
yes.
big plans. But when you scroll through Twitter, mainly Twitter, you see a lot of people complaining about NFTs and crypto. And you even see tweets stating that the majority of traditional gamers are not very much fond of crypto. So I think we can agree that it does have a bit of a bad reputation amongst a wide audience. So how do you plan to change their minds and win over the traditional gamers for Kitsumon?
Yeah, for sure. I think as we kind of partially touched on just a moment ago, I think the main things are the inclusivity factor. What we mean by this is allowing people to enter the game without having to necessarily have to do what we would orientate around the Web3 space, like you said, with buying things or investing specifically. We keep it open, keep it fresh, and this is a good thing, because if people just want to come along and play, they can do that. If they want to maybe take things to another level, they can do that as well. I mean, look at the games like, for example, Clash of Clans, which probably actually came out maybe 10 years ago now, which is crazy to think that it was that long ago.
Yeah.
But you always had the free play option. But if you wanted to excel and maybe take it to another level, you could do that. And that's the good thing about the flexibility. But you mentioned about NFTs having like a bad stigma potentially, or crypto in general. I think people, when they understand like the NFT aspect of you owning something within the game, it's actually your asset, your responsibility. So these kitsus that we have as NFTs, especially when we look at the breeding mechanism of, you know, creating hybrids and the royalties that you can have from offspring and them battling or selling them on in the future, it creates a really cool ecosystem, but also creates even more integration with you as a user, you as a gamer, something so different that you would not see in the traditional gaming market. And as I mentioned as well about these game partners, if you think, one of my favorite films is like Ready Player One, and if you watch that 2 or 3 times, first time you watch it, it's fun. The second time you watch it from the mindset of the metaverse and what crypto and NFTs are, and like interoperability and things like this, then you start seeing a different picture. You start thinking, okay, Ready Player One is a great film, great entertainment, but how would that world kind of work? So this guy is jumping in and out of worlds, different games, being able to yield out armor or swords or whatever it is, and be able to jump with those assets into other games. And this is where you can't do this in traditional gaming. So for example, random example, but Call of Duty, you can't take your skins or your weapons or anything into other games. Now some games, obviously, rule of thumb, you wouldn't be able to use some of those assets because it wouldn't work in that game, because, you know, it'd be a bit weird. But in the grand scheme of things, if there were certain assets or things that you could take across, you can't do that in the traditional world. So I think one of the key things about this is education and knowledge to the gamers out there that are hearing the words NFTs flying about. We must remember, NFTs aren't just artworks and pieces of games and things like this. NFTs will be applied to anything and everything, as I said, that isn't like a 1-to-1 ratio. It's something like, it could be a house, it could be a car. It's literally anything with a physicality or a value that isn't like a dollar to dollar, for example. So this will change the world, but in the gaming world, it changes your usability. It changes your interaction, not just with our game, but other games as well. You as an avatar, you as a profile, you as a user, in and out of games, in and out of worlds. And as I said, you know, oh, do you know what? Penguin Cart's got a tournament going on. Let's take the Kitsu over there. Or you're playing Penguin Carts, you want to come and race them over here. Come on, let's do this, because the metaverse, that's what it's about. And the Web3 space is about expansion. This is about expanding, using people's minds, the insane amount of knowledge and expertise, like even just with our team internally. If you multiply that by the amount of people that work in this space and what we could achieve collectively, and that includes the users, because the users are very important for community building, for engagement, for feedback. You know, like the DAO situation of like people being able to vote for things and get included in that is so different. But maybe a bit of a hint of one of the partners is coming very soon. Hopefully by the end of this week we'll announce that. The interaction of guild building and clan building, creating tournaments, creating friend groups, social aspects, sharing things, sharing ideas, sharing the way of how to play games. This is what we can do here, and it's almost like there's no limit. So that's kind of like what we would say to people outside of the crypto or Web3 space, is that don't always get bogged down with all the maybe the bad or the negative articles and things like this that you can see out there. Start exploring, start researching like what NFTs are, like how do they work, and then start applying that to how that could work in a game and make it more amazing for you as a user. Because trust me, this world that we're entering over the next few years, not just for Kitsumon but Web3 space in general and gaming, is taking us to levels we never thought we could do. And I, like I said, I referred to that Ready Player One game because that is the epitome of what the metaverse is going to be about. and we're seeing the building blocks. So it's very exciting, but we've got a huge job. Not just us, everyone in the space has a responsibility to build this system from scratch, essentially. But we at Kitsumon want to take that big advantage, that big leadership role, and start educating, delivering more knowledge across the board in Web3, in traditional markets, and get people understanding it more. And when they do understand it, they won't want to leave. It's as simple as that. So hopefully that answered that question for you, Michael.
Yeah, I want to add a little bit as well on
Tobias,
that.
Yeah, please do.
So basically, I very much get that there's a lot of people that do not like Web3 and that do not like NFTs at all for obvious reasons, because it's filled with like greedy sleazebag projects that like fuck over their users, right? That's very common thing, and it's given a very bad reputation to many projects. And at the end of the day, the only thing that we can really do is that, first of all, because we can offer many of our features in a way where people don't actually even have to create like a wallet or have any money to buy something, and they can just at least try out game features without anything like that, and then kind of get started that way. And if someone really wanted to, making it possible that they could even like slowly over time like earn from that, even though it's going to be much slower than like the options where people start out like buying a piece of land, for example. But it should still be possible. It should still be playable and fun, even if you don't have already your feet in that area of NFT and crypto as it is. So it's more about kind of showing off the cool features that we are offering without any of the worrying parts, like the NFTs and the crypto parts. So even a mainstream gamer could get into the game and explore it and kind of build that trust to kind of know that this is actually a project that's about the game and not just about the crypto or about like earning money in that sense. And it's just a matter of kind of getting people's trust through proving to them that we're that kind of project. So it's something that happens over time, I would say, and we kind of have to prove that ourselves to people.
Good words, Tobias. Good words.
Thank
exactly you. That. And we do have some partners already and more to come around like the rental schemes as well. So people who not just with Kitsumon, there's loads of different games we'll apply to as well. There's also a mechanism like if you don't want to go the free play world, if you don't want to go to the big investment world, but you might want to still dabble into it, there are like rental programs coming as well, built within like smart contracts. So this is allowing people to test the water, or they might just want to do it for a bit of fun and rent NFTs off people. That in itself is an economy for people who do own the NFTs, but also a great advantage for people who want to get involved and go, actually, I'm going to test this out first. If they're coming from the traditional market, especially, they might not want to jump in immediately. They might want to test it. They'll do the free one, perhaps, but they might go, okay, I want to try some of the things that you might be able to do if I was holding NFTs or kitsus or anything like this. And this is where the rental programs come in and are really interesting. So yeah, do keep an eye on that side of things as well, because we have some more advancements on that as time goes by. But yeah, I mean, with like Tobias said, there's 2 or 3 really cool avenues that we can go down that make us a bit different. And back to your point, Michael, about people outside of the Web3 space maybe have concerns or worries. We know that we've got some answers for them to make sure that they have a good experience, whichever way they want to do it.
Yeah, definitely sounds like you have a big game plan for that.
For sure.
So the main thing you mentioned is to differentiate yourselves from other projects and lead by example. And that leads me to my next question, because Axie Infinity recently went down with a big bang. And that will definitely leave a bad taste on the play-to-earn sector. So what did you learn from that, and what can you improve to sustain the Kitsumon economy?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the aspect of security and privacy and things like this, something that we take like majorly seriously. You can see even like from the likes of our Gamepedia platforms, like we mentioned about Quest Hub and SpinTop. We had to go through a lucrative sort of stage process with them to be able to be listed and prove certain things. We've obviously had the hack and audit recently as well, which was pretty gold standard for us. So I think what's really important, especially in this space where there's many stories out there, and I do believe this links as well again back to the knowledge point. And education is educating yourself as an investor or as a user out there in general is a really big thing to do. But also when you're investing or you're researching or you're trying to get involved in the game is to look at the historic information, the security elements, the audits and things like this. This is very important. But we hold our head high because of these audits that we're getting, the scores that we're getting. We take it extremely seriously. And that comes from, I guess, a multitude of factors, really. One, obviously, to protect the user, most importantly. And secondly, for ourselves as well. Like, we can see the detrimental effect if you don't have the correct procedures in place or the correct security measures in place of what can happen, how damaging it could potentially be. And what we don't want to do, and this isn't just us, this is the space in general. The space in general does not want to have too many of these things happening because we are, as I said, trying to do this bridging aspect. We're trying to bring people across from the traditional market into the Web3 space. And obviously, if we have too much negativity out there, it's just going to put more people off. So we drive that. We drive the aspect of security, privacy, safety of users as gamers, because this is slightly different to the traditional market with the use of blockchain, smart contracts and things like this. But there is always constant improvement in this space, not just for gaming, but in general for blockchain technology moving forward. It's still very infant, still very new, still learning. New teams, new developers, all of these things are really important to understand that we're all still learning. And that goes for the users as well. Like some unfortunate experiences happen across the board somewhere, and we all learn in some capacity. But back to my point originally was the education aspect. This doesn't just mean you as a user are educating yourself about the different aspects of blockchain and Web3, but also educating yourself around the projects that you're involved with, the projects that you're playing in this instance of gaming, to ensure that every due diligence is done, and all of these things as well. And as well as that, another thing to take on board with that is like when games are looking for like maybe equity rounds or further development of their project and they want to raise funds, these big venture capital and things like this won't really want to touch games or projects out there that are in perhaps have maybe a slight ordeal like you mentioned earlier. So there's really big importance as to why a project delves so deeply into privacy, security and all of these factors. But we are, as I said, having our heads up high with the scores of the audits that we've been getting. We'll get more for sure, but they're all passing with flying colours, some of the best that these audit companies have ever seen. So people sometimes maybe take that for granted or maybe don't understand. Definitely go and check out the likes of our hacking audit, and understand what hacking and the audits are in general as well. Then you understand the magnitude of the effort that we put in the background to make sure everything runs smoothly and there's no major issues. And as I said, most important thing, protecting the users that we have now and the future users coming in as well.
Yep.
So hopefully that covers that. Oh, Tobias.
Yeah, and adding to that as well, at the end of the day with Axie, so as we know, they had a hack and then predicted insider trading and the CEO potentially like pulling out money before it happened and stuff. So at the end of the day, the only thing that can be done to really reassure an end user is two things. It's the doxing of all the team members, and secondly, it's government compliance. Because at the end of the day, crypto space is always going to be a little bit difficult for the law to really get their hands onto people who are doing bad things, although it's getting better, but still. And so the best thing you can do as a project to give people trust, in my opinion, is that we really try to stick with government regulations and stay legal, stay open, and we can really show people like, yeah, these are all the people that are working on the project, like these are their faces, their names, everything, and just showing them like we're serious about this. We're not looking to like rug pull anybody, you know what I mean? So it's like that's the best thing you can do, from what I would say, as a project, to give people some reassurance that we're not going to do something like what Axie did.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
good point. Very good point to us.
very nice. Yeah, I think that was also in the Balthasar report, right? That they mentioned that it was not easy to find all the information they would have wanted to see, but I think you already touched up on that and
Yeah,
improved
exactly. I
the
mean,
the
the
documents
Balthasar,
and
hmm, yeah, Balthasar report was very important. Not just as a ongoing partner, but yeah, like you say, we took on board. Many projects or many people may take some criticisms the wrong way, or opportunities to improve. We just saw it as a massive opportunity to take on board those notes and think, actually, as we're always busy all the time, sometimes small things can slip through the net. Unfortunately, with the report, to be fair, majority of the things in there were really small, minor things, but still things that we want to always have perfect. And that's something we want to hammer home, is that the team works hard all the time, 24/7 around the world. And that's not just about the game, it's about everyone's experience, how we're presenting ourselves across the board. You see on the screen here, for example, again, like not huge things that were pointed out by Balthazar. You can check the whole report out, which is linked on here. We basically did this response. We thought it was a good idea to basically bring out the points that Balthazar made and show the things that we're working on to improve and get fixed. And in conjunction with that, you may have seen recently, for example, we've moving away from Telegram and moving more towards
yeah,
Discord for discussions and building clans, teams, all this. And it builds back to my point earlier in the AMA about esports in general, and guild building and all this cool stuff. Because sometimes you can have too many channels, and we want to make sure that we're narrowing this down a bit so we have full focus on specific things. But Discord is huge. Obviously, everyone in the gaming world pretty much knows about Discord or uses it in some capacity at some point. And this is something we want to really start driving. Furthermore, with the likes of like KYC, so we make sure that we remove all the bots and the fake things that go on and the scams. There's better moderation opportunities and things like this. I mean, Tobias can, of course, touch on Discord more than I can. He's the awesome community king that we have here, and he's been doing the big, great work in the background to making Discord what it is right now, and what it will be in the coming months will be fantastic based on his ideas. So there's some big changes there, and that was part of Balthazar to say that actually we've got a lot of things here. Maybe we need to focus more, and then that focus then leads on to a focus in the other areas, even more so. We have even more time to focus on the proper development of the game, which obviously everyone's very excited about.
yeah.
The mechanisms of professions, the breeding, the land, which are all coming very imminently. There's so much in the background. I wish I could say a lot more than I can right now, but if only you guys could see with fly on the wall, as they say, with all the things that are happening. So yeah, we appreciate Balthazar's honesty and their report. We're making amends to all of that, and we do actually have an AMA with them coming up in the next couple of weeks, because all the things will be ticked off, all the things have been corrected, and this is something we want to achieve in a short space of time, and it will be essentially coordinated, if you like, with all the other areas that we've improved on as well. The new web pages, as I said, the new social platforms, all the other things we're doing in line with some of the game developments as well. But yeah, Tobias, I mean, you can talk a bit more about Discord because you're the king of Discord and community,
Sure.
about what you think Discord can bring to everyone.
Yeah, so Discord basically, it's a decision that we've made after a long deliberation. I know it was like months ago when the idea first came up, and we've talked about it several times before we actually ended up deciding to go with it. And it really was the Balthazar report that kind of brought up the decision once again and kind of made us eventually decide on doing it after all. Simply because the Telegram, it's definitely more convenient for some people because it's got a simplistic layout, and there's only one chat, and so there's nothing complicated going on with it. But at the same time, it is, because it's just one chat, it's also very chaotic, and there's usually not even that much happening either, despite it being one chat, because just so much stuff gets lost, and it's just it's very hard to also moderate and keep the bots out, kind of keep the non-serious people out. Kind of, I'm sure for the people that are listening, you've seen your fair share of KYC people that are coming into the Telegram and kind of just asking about that all the time, or similar stuff like that. And what the Discord really has allowed us to do is that we can kind of configure this in the way that we prefer, and it's like actually having like this double verification here with the captcha, and then with the Web3 wallet to actually just filter out those people that would be not even very much interested in the project at all, because they're not going to go through the effort of doing those steps like pretty much ever. So you're not going to have these people come in anymore and disrupt any communications. It's only going to be the people who are actually serious about it. So I think that's already, in my opinion at least, really leveled up the conversation qualities that we're having now in the Discord. I see people really chatting along nicely, and there's not really any weirdos coming in and writing weird stuff. So that's really good, I think. And we can also now have all these many channels as well, depending on what role someone has with the wallet as well. Like the token holders get their own chat, and we have the sneak peek channel now, which people seem to really like. So I think the Discord really just lets you Discord really just lets you kind of set things up in a really nice and clean way, in my opinion. Even if the layout isn't something everyone's used to, I think it's still worth it, even despite that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think it was the right choice, to be honest. I mean, I can understand, as you just said, Tobias, that some people are not used to it, or they prefer Telegram because, as you said, it's easy because it's just one channel and they're used to it. And to be fair, Discord on the phone is kind of weird to use. I definitely prefer the desktop version. But as you just said, eventually everyone will find their way here and see how awesome it is. The new server is really nice, and yeah, it's cool to see all the guys who are serious from the Telegram group already switched over and having a great time.
Exactly. And we also have the competition going on as well, by the way. If anyone who's listening doesn't know about it yet, we have a activity competition. If you reach at least level 5, you get the title Kitsu Trainer, and you're going to be able to ask us to claim a free Infinity Potion for the breeding.
Awesome.
And we also have a Gleam link to it as well. With if you check the events channel on the Discord, I think everybody should be able to view that one. If you join the Gleam giveaway and you have the Discord leaderboard activity, it's basically just linked to the Arcane Bot leaderboard. Let me actually.
Yeah, I've got it on the screen for you guys. I believe.
Yep. I'm just dropping the link in right now. I believe that's the right one off the top of my head. Yeah, as I've dropped it into the events channel as well, the link to the Arcane Bot leaderboard. You can always check who is the highest. Mistbind actually is even higher than me. Has been chatting very actively, and the first place is gonna get, I believe, $250. So there's some money on the line as well if you wanna compete a bit with the activity. Make sure to check it out if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, that's great. So as you just said, by eliminating the noise, you can focus more on the important stuff. And the most important stuff is coming soon, as you just said, land sale. Mm-hmm. So can you elaborate more on that? Like, what can we expect to see as landowners? Can you give us a little bit more details? We have seen some stuff in the Discord server already, some hints, but I was wondering if you can,
Do you want me to take this one, Simon, or do you want to
go
answer?
for it? Go for it.
Okay. So
Otherwise, I'll say
basically,
things I'm not supposed to.
yeah. So basically, with the land sale, we already have. I can't tell you everything, but we already have most of the stuff like internally all planned out in terms of like the release times and the marketing and everything. So it's all planned to like for you to see some cool stuff already in this month, I believe. And there will be to answer your question first, what you will be able to expect as landowners, we're going to be having articles coming out to explain all the different professions, how all of that stuff works, the different items, even with asset images as well.
Oh,
Going to
nice.
show you how the stuff will look like in the game. We're also going to have articles on the different biomes that we will be able to potentially get for the land from the land, and the land types as well. So all of that is going to have its own article with thorough details on everything, and with assets as well. Wherever possible, we really want to have assets in there everywhere where we can manage. So you can really see like a first look at least already on how the game will look like. And we're even going to have a full-blown trailer for you as well, but that one's going to be a little bit in the future because we're going to need all the assets and going to need to really build that one up to be very high quality.
Okay, that sounds very promising.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think, just touching on that. I mean, there's back to the original few questions at the beginning. In the background, as I said, many people always. I can appreciate some people sometimes maybe impatient or very excited, and rightly so. Not just for us, but in the space in general. I think it's just important to understand like the team is working 24/7. The development team, the coding team, everyone, to bring something very special. And I think everyone's going to really like what we present for the land, both in terms of the variations, the opportunities, especially, and the interaction with the different gameplay mechanisms. We don't want to just like some projects, if you like, cool, you've got some land, great, now what? We've taken this to a very, very cool level, and people are going to be back to that point about gaming in general and the usability, the excitement. When I was a kid, I had all the SNES, the N64, all of this stuff. Maybe I'm showing a bit of age there. I've got Ataris, all sorts, and they're gaming to me. And the principles of gaming, and maybe in the last 10 years, have not necessarily lost their way, but I feel like games like Kitsumon and the adaptation of land, the adaptation of the professions, the breeding, everything coming together is going to bring back a lot of nostalgia and a lot more, even more excitement than ever before in gaming. So land sales are a really big part of that, not just from people investing and things like this, but from the free-to-play aspect as well. As I mentioned earlier about things like venues and building and yielding, all those details coming. I'd love to share a lot of it today, but we want to, like with the Balthazar report, showcasing everything has to be perfect. We don't want to just release anything, just bit by bit or anything like this just yet. We want to make sure it's 100% concrete. Everyone's understanding, knowledgeable about it all, because then there's no questions from anyone and no disappointment, and everyone can be wowed by it. And we know that everyone will be. We're just very excited. Like I said, I wish I could bring it all to your attention now, but we'll do it very, very soon, and it will be in a very, very nice way, which is what everyone deserves.
Amazing. Yeah, I always said I rather have you guys delay everything and make it perfect than put out some stuff that is not working. So take your time and make it sure it's perfect.
Yeah, not too much time, but yeah, we're very close. Don't worry.
All right. I got some questions that got sent to me.
Oh, cool.
And I picked out 3 of them. So the first one being, what do you think will draw the most players to Kitsumon in regards of game features?
Ooh, there's a lot of them. Tobias, do you want to take
Yeah.
that one. What's your favorite thing that you
For
think
sure.
everyone's going to like?
I think at the end of the day, the thing that's going to draw the most players in is definitely going to be the MOBA, because that's going to be the centerpiece of everything. That's why it's also the final thing that we're working on, and the one that takes the most time and money as well to develop, because it's really going to have to be top class, because everything is really, at the end of the day, structured around the MOBA. Players will be able to do farming as well and breeding as well, and they can specialize on it too. They don't have to interact with the MOBA at all if they don't want to. But at the end of the day, the MOBA still is the centerpiece of the whole game, I would say. So that would be my answer.
Awesome.
Yeah. Simon, you think the
Me?
same?
Wow. Okay. Well, I would say everything because I'm biased, but yeah, no, I probably agree with Tobias, and I think that spectrum of the battle arena is going to be so detrimental to the esports mechanism and the bridging mechanism as well. This is, of course, like where the nitty gritty happens, right? This is where the excitement happens, and yeah, one of our upcoming partners, you'll see some even more cool interaction and opportunity there. And I think that the experience side of things is going to be really cool on this, and a lot of work's going into it. And I really like the idea as well of like the venues within land, people visiting each other's worlds or hosting tournaments, things like this. And more and more people that talk about this, the more people that get involved with it, the bigger it will become, because this sharing capability, this view to earn, the play to earn mechanism is so big in itself. To have the battle arena on top of that, I personally think that, I know it's a bit of an easy way out to just copy what Tobias picked, but I do think that that's definitely one of the big aspects of Kitsumon for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. And that is why I picked the second question. Is the MOBA already in development in DFS? Since when?
So for the
Yes.
MOBA, do you want to answer this one, Simon?
Well, no, you can, my friend, of course.
Yeah, whatever you prefer. I was just gonna say,
Go for it.
we're already working on the specs for the MOBA, I believe. It is definitely the biggest project, and I think it's also a matter of how well the land sale will do, because we have to, of course, make sure we're budgeting things correctly. We're not gonna just budget it for 20 million or something and then just see if we run out of money or not. We're always planning ahead, and we're always making sure that whatever we're working on, we can easily finish it with the funds we have, to make sure we can give you guys a great product without anything causing any issues. So with that in mind, before we start like the full-on development in terms of like the graphics and like the map and that kind of stuff for the MOBA itself, like the arena kind of thing, it is something where we have to first, I believe, do the land sale and actually figure out what budget we have in total to work with. So currently we're working on like the specs of how it actually will work, but for the gameplay part that like has graphics developed and stuff, that one is going to be happening after we know exactly how many funds we have to use.
Yeah,
Fair
I
enough.
think the MOBA is massively important, as we've already just mentioned. But yeah, for us to think is making sure, as we said all the way through this AMA, really, is that everything is the best it can be, the most perfect it can be, and the development, like Tobias said, is already in play. It's just making sure that we deliver something really special, something different, and something that's extremely engaging in various different ways. So it's always been worked on. The team, as I said, if everyone could see what a day's like here at Kitsumon, it's crazy. So many things going on all the time. But yeah, we're not far away from delivering. The same with the MOBA and all the other bits. Delivering some really cool information to you guys on the development side of that. Really looking forward to doing that.
Awesome. Can't wait. Something I was wondering in regards to my last question. For those of you who do not know or haven't haven't seen it yet, Kitsumon has a partner called Adia Digital, and they are creating the 3D assets for them. And they are like the biggest player or one of the biggest players in 3D asset modelation. And I was wondering if they are also creating the assets for the arena and the mobile world and stuff like that, or is this just for the NFTs for the Kitsus?
That's an easy one to answer. So yeah, we are working. I'm pretty sure we're allowed to say this, right, Simon? We are working with ADIA on the assets for the professions gameplay and all that stuff. So we're
Yeah,
already
there's a bit of a
in
mix
contact
really
with them. Yeah.
because we've got like some aspects are not necessarily within our control in the sense of like how they can be developed and made. ADIA has a massive expertise, of course. They've done multitude of games out there, in the likes of FIFA and all this. They don't make them themselves, right? So that was part of the spectrum of being able to then concentrate on the technological aspects, the coding aspects of the gameplay itself. So it's allowed us to develop other areas significantly faster and better by allowing that. But yeah, I mean, majority of the arena, of course, we brief and we visualize. We have, as I said, I think he's even in the call today, is our awesome creative director Shen, and we've got the likes of Vahid as well, who are working tirelessly every day on game specs, on detail, visuals, concepts, briefings, all of these kind of things. So there's a bit of a mix and match, but in general for the MOBA itself, like it's all in our control in terms of like how it looks, how we build it, how we create it. Sanjay and his team are doing so much awesome work in the background. I don't know, I look at some of the screens like he shows me and it's like I have no idea what any of it means. It just looks amazing code wise and stuff like this. And then when he shows me the visual or the end production, it's like, wow, you guys are on another level. So there's a bit of a mix there, but yeah, Ada of course has its own way. I mean, we shared like the original Kitsu Gen Zeros on socials and stuff, where we thought it was important to showcase that Ada was a big partner of ours. But they've done the really big foundation work. It's now up to us to enhance that, integrate it in the best way possible, and then match all of the cool stuff that we've been doing with the extra things that we're doing, like the battle arena, the professions, all this stuff which we're doing in house. So it's going to be
Actually, I
cool.
think I might have to correct you here, Simon, because the profession stuff is being done by ADIA, the assets.
Yeah, we have like a mix on all of the aspects, don't we? So like the briefing, the concepts and everything are essentially done by ourselves. And then visually they would do it, and then it's down to us to integrate and bring it to life basically.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
I've just realized I'm slowly disappearing in darkness.
Yeah, it's getting dark.
Yeah.
I got one more question from someone, but I think you already touched a bit on it. The question was, how do you make sure that Kitsumon will be user-friendly? How can a 10-year-old gain easy access to a crypto game?
Yeah, I mean, the free play world is applicable to anyone. Of course, there's some elements, particularly when it comes to like investment and things like this, where of course you have to be like certain ages and things like this. It's pretty standard across the board with any kind of games like that in the past, as I mentioned earlier, with like the likes of Clash of Clans and some of the games out there, like even like with Fortnite, where there's all those big things over the last few years where parents have had significant bills through their Xbox Live passes and things like this. We will be making sure that there's relevant and safety precautions for avoiding those kind of situations. But the most important thing is, as I said earlier about inclusivity, is ensuring that anyone can play the game. Of course, there'll be some elements where the younger audience may not be able to participate in certain aspects, but that's pretty standard, and that's just obviously for the protection of themselves and gaming in general, and making sure like any crazy bills come out or anything like this. So it's really important that we still allow it to be open, but also be in the safety measures, which goes back to the point of like auditing and security and privacy and all this stuff. It also goes in hand with making sure that it's safe and fair for everyone, but also allowing people to still be able to play no matter what level you are, what kind of user you are. You will still have some form of access to the game aspect.
All right. Sounds good. I mean, I think a lot of young people will play Kitsumon because it has that kind of Pokemon vibe, and Pokemon was really, really going through the roof with younger generations. So it's definitely something we need to consider to make sure that they have a nice experience playing the game, and also not making it too hard for them to use everything you have to offer, right?
Yeah, agreed. And on the same note as well, I believe that one game that we've been looking at as well for good mobile examples is Pokemon Unite, and I think that game also is very, very popular with the younger audience of gamers as well.
Yeah, Pokemon Unite is massive.
So Michael, did you have any more questions? Because I have a few more here as well that we can go through.
I don't have any. Okay. I don't have any left.
Then
I mean, I could ask some more, but
yeah, let me go through the ones I have in the thread here on Discord first, and then if we have time still, we can go through some more if you want. So the first one that I see here, I signed up as a breeding tester. When will I get access to tests? So that's a very important one. We've been working on that one very much with the breeding test net. It should be, I don't want to give hard deadlines, but it should be genuinely in like the coming weeks, like not more than like, okay, I don't want to use that terminology, but within the next few weeks at latest, it should be out. It should be much sooner than you might think, because it's very much close to finished. In fact, I've actually been doing metadata double checks to make sure everything's properly in place and stuff for the deployment. So we're very much not far away from getting this started. And then if the people who signed up as testers can finally get started as well with testing the actual breeding mechanics out. So that's going to be very exciting.
For sure. Always keep an eye on our socials all the time.
Yeah.
Things can change sometimes very quickly. But yeah, that's essentially the first places you're going to hear it, really. So keep an eye on it, for sure.
Yeah. For the next question from Cryptocoholic, we have, are there any works on game theme songs, soundtracks, or any partnerships on that? So I would say probably the first person we would go to for sound design stuff is the same person that has worked with us on the sound design for the box opening animation, if you remember that one, because I think that was pretty well received and it was very high quality. So we don't have any direct work on those things just yet, but it's going to be something that's definitely going to get worked on as we move forward with the professions and we move forward with getting those closer to completion. So we can be sure we're going to try our best to make high quality audio for those as well, similar to the box opening trailer as well, because I think sound design is a really important part of the game anyway.
Yeah,
definitely. It's fun to play. Yeah. Then let's just run through the remaining two questions as well. What are you planning to do against the Kitsu population inflation, additionally to the breeding timer? So PDC, this one was actually something that was brought up already as well in the feedback channel. And basically what we're going to be doing is something similar to a Kitsu wishing well, where people can essentially like send their unwanted Kitsu back to the data stream and have a chance to receive something in return, like a free potion or something similar, almost like a ticket to a spinning wheel roulette thing kind of idea. And that's basically going to let people take the less desirable kitsus and turn them into like another potion for another try or something similar. So it's going to do a great work of making sure we don't have like tens of thousands of like undesired kitsus flooding into the marketplace and then being sold for like $5 or something. So that would be the main thing we can do against it, additionally to the breeding timer. And then for the last question from Crypticaholic again, what happened to the Ranger class? The Ranger class is, I believe, not abandoned. It's just that it's not as planned as to be in the first release cycle of the professions, because it doesn't add enough direct value to the rest of the ecosystem. So it's kind of just been pushed back. But the idea is still very interesting to us, and we still most likely will end up implementing it just a little bit at a later time in a future cycle of the professions. Those were all the questions from the Discord, I believe.
Awesome.
So Simon, what do you think time-wise? Do we have time for more questions from Michael, or do you want to start wrapping it up here?
We can have a couple more questions, I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no problem.
All right, let's hit up a few more, and then after that we can begin to wrap up.
There
Michael,
is
if you have any,
Tobias, I think, from YouTube as well, from Stephen. You might be able to answer that one better.
Oh yeah, I see it. If you use your staked land sale tokens for the land sale, will you still get the rewards? So the way this will work, and that's going to be like a little bit of an exclusive info for you guys, because this hasn't actually been officially stated yet. But basically, if you will be able to use the staked tokens to buy in the land sale, even if they're still locked, because you'll be able to just burn them. And if you burn them before because the tokens are still going to be staked when the land sale happens, right? But you're going to be able to burn them, and you're also going to be able to burn the full APY reward that you would have gotten at the end of the staking period. So you're basically going to get some extra funds to work with if you use them to buy in the land sale. That should be exciting for the people.
Nice.
Yeah, that.
That's some alpha.
Yeah, keep that one a little bit on the down low. Don't tell it to everybody. It's a bit of an exclusive piece of info. All right, ask that question. So, Michael, did you have any more questions that you wanna forward to us?
Yeah, 1 second. I think I have some more over here. I just wanted to say, in regards to the unwanted Kitsus, now that you told us that you will have passives for every profession, I think this will add a lot of value to the Kitsus who may have not the best stats or anything, but if they happen to get a nice passive, the value drastically increases. So
definitely,
that's very nice to see.
For sure, yeah.
All right. So someone asked, when do we get a Jester and Natura update? Well, Natura already got airdropped, so what about Jester?
Yes, for Jester, yeah, I'm assuming this person is probably in Telegram right now, but if you come to the Discord, into the sneak peeks channel, there's actually already been a sketch drop for the design of Jester in the sneak peeks channel. You can check out if you scroll up a bit. It was posted on the 29th July. So that's gonna be the initial sketch. We already have the finished artwork as well, but we're gonna drop that a little bit later. If you wanna see that one, you gotta keep your eyes on it as well.
Yeah, the concept already looks nice, so.
For sure, yeah.
Another question I have is, are you planning to take out the anti-bot mechanism from the DEXs?
That's a difficult question. I think that's more something that is James's territory. But from what I recall that we were saying is that it might go away once we're listed on a couple of CXs and there's more trade stability. But don't take my word on that, because it's not really my jurisdiction. But I think once we're at that stage, there's a chance that it might just get taken off.
Yeah, if anyone has maybe there's some questions that we can't answer on this channel for one reason or another, do drop them always in the Discord AMA question chat, because if we don't answer them on the AMA, we can at least review them for the next one, or if we do get some time sooner than that, we can get them answered on that chat as well at some point. So yeah, don't feel like if it's too difficult question or something and if we don't give an answer today, don't worry, we'll definitely get you one as soon as we can.
Right. One more. When can we expect a roadmap for the next year?
What next year? Okay. So in general, we would usually plan this at the sort of beginning stages of Q4, because we have so many milestones going already. Most have been ticked off. I think we're due, because of the Balthasar report as well, to update some of those roadmap milestones that we hit in Q2 and Q3 already. So that's the major focus right now. But yeah, for sure, for next year, we will be focusing. It's not like we don't know what's happening throughout next year. It's more like the transition of, we haven't finished this year yet. So we would perhaps maybe put some hints or teasers out there at the beginning stages of Q4 to showcase what's coming up in that period of time afterwards, because as you guys know, we obviously have the game launch coming up, which is obviously significant time wise and also big focus, and we've got all the other elements like we just mentioned about breeding going fully live and professions and all the other cool stuff that we're doing. So it's first of all important that we make sure that we adhere and tick those milestones off that we've got currently, and then of course always looking into the future every day, but when we come to present that, I would say that that's probably something you'll see from us. It's not far away now, actually, to be fair, because October is only a couple months away, but yeah, I would have thought around October time we would start to see some information for you guys, or I'll certainly make sure we have some information on some progress of at least maybe Q1 next year. But as the development of Q4 occurs, we'll have more and more of 2023 in visibility for everyone to see, and that's going to be an exciting year once we've launched, for sure, taking that to even more bigger levels, bigger heights, which I'm sure everyone will be excited about.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
All right, I just skipped through and I think we covered all of the questions I have here. Some of them are double, so for now I think you satisfied the hunger of the audience.
Good.
That's
good.
what I like to hear.
Okay, guys. Well, Michael, first of all, thank you for joining us on our first KitsuPlay. Hopefully you'll join us for many more in the future. Thank you to Tobias as well, of course, the awesome community manager that we have here at Kitsumon. And also you guys that have been watching us on YouTube and on Discord, and all of you that have been asking those questions. Do make sure you keep an eye out for our next one, probably in a month's time, but we will be doing a lot more video content through YouTube, loads of different announcements, partnership AMAs and things like this on here as well. Similar formats to this. Do always leave feedback, leave comments below as well, what you did and didn't like. We always want to keep improving that, but hopefully you've enjoyed what you've heard and seen thus far. Big things coming up in August, and thanks as well, of course, to the rest of the Kitsumon team across a multitude of levels, and various different departments, because without anyone here, we wouldn't be where we are today. And big things, like I said, are coming for sure in the coming weeks, the coming months, to make sure that you guys have the best experience, the best game possible that we can deliver. So thanks everyone involved, and we will obviously see you in the next KitsuPlay MA. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Tobias. We will see
Thanks
you
for
all.
having me.
Thank you.
Thanks,
It was
guys.
very nice to be here.
Brilliant. We will see you all very soon. Bye bye.
All right, see you soon. Bye bye.